Hello, welcome to Tenfold Hat News. Hello, my tenfolders. Today I'm kind of like sick, nursing a hangover, and I've been bombing the bathroom. This video is not for children as it is news. No cussing, no cursing. We are on the fringes of YouTube, so what you'll hear is straightforward. Anyway, going on about with current events. We've seen the Canadian truckers protest. It's been a very big deal. Right now, they're facing a lot of adversity. Trudeau was pointed out by Bill Maher to be a very dangerous person. Bill Maher is now comparing Trudeau to Adolf Hitler based on what Trudeau has said. And what he has said, very unsettling. Now, I would quote Bill Maher, but I think it's best you watch the video of him going on Trudeau. To those in Michigan or on the American side near the Ambassador Bridge, you can support the Canadian protesters by doing something very, very intelligent and sort of an FU to Trudeau. My Canadian brothers, I encourage you to contact people in Michigan to go ahead, put up a blockade on the American side. Why? We can help the Canadian truckers get what they want. Also, Biden has no right to speak ill of Canadians. He has no right. If you're living up near the Ambassador Bridge on the American side, let's block that freaking bridge. Let's block that bridge because, gosh darn it, the Canadians, Trudeau's going to do something nasty to these innocent truckers. Let's block that bridge. Let's make it a living nightmare. Hell, Governor Whitmore and all the Dems are like, we got to defund the police. American cops combined with American truckers will shut the Ambassador Bridge down. And I encourage truckers and American police to help shut down the Ambassador Bridge. Let Biden know, just start messing with other countries. I know Biden's so desperate to protect Ukraine. But you know what's happening is the Ukrainian president is saying, where's this evidence? And I hope the Ukrainian president is not only smart, but able to show Hunter Biden's job at Burisma. This would be pretty funny and absolute. But back to what I was saying. The Canadian truckers deserve our help. Now, gifts and go. Thank God they're doing what they can to get money. But a Canadian judge is trying to seize finances. So, as Americans, we got to get creative to help our Canadian brothers. By one, stopping and blocking the borders with the truckers saying, oh yeah, by the way, we support Canada. We're closing it down for our brothers. You ain't gonna screw them because when they got something to say, you better listen. Americans have been known to be a bunch of rebellious people. You tell us not to do something, it's in every American's psyche to say, I'm going to do it. You can't tell me nothing. They tell us don't press the red button. Every American's like, oh, really? Oh, no, we're pressing that red button. Yeah. They told us don't go see the Joker. It's a horrible movie. We're like, we're going to go see the Joker. Not once, multiple times. Movie grossed $1.5 billion domestically. Now, what I'm getting at, and I'll just go straight for the kill, is we have a lot of stuff going on. Noticing with the Canadian situation, we can help out by doing our own stuff. We can get gifts and go to get truckers to go ahead and blockade the American side. So, the Canadian truckers aren't attacked as much, but they got support. Hey, we'll blockade it on our side. Don't worry, Canada, my Canadian brothers, we got you. You know why? Because you cool. And we like what you're doing. So keep it up. You've inspired the world. France freaking out. It's funny. They say, workers of the world unite. We have. We don't like communism. We don't like authoritarianism. You don't get to tell us what to do. See, we're not stupid. Communism is slavery with extra steps. Everyone's like, that's not true. Go live in a communist country. Tell me how the CCP is. Oh, by the way, nobody's watching the Olympics. Right now, you know what's on NBC right now? The Super Bowl. You know why they had to get the Super Bowl and they could not put on the Olympics? Because everyone hates the Winter Olympics right now. We hate Beijing with a solid passion. They did this to us. And what did our politicians do? Nancy Pelosi, oh, well, you just can't say that. We're going to compete in the Winter Olympics. And I'm like, we should have boycotted this thing. She's being investigated for corruption. I don't see how this person has power. She's been on inside trading, and her family members are getting all this. This has been going on for so long, and just now we're putting a stop to it. It's very funny how it's become the way it is. I don't really like these woke retards and I don't want them anywhere in our military. Look what happened with Afghanistan. We don't have time for CRT BS, which is what it is. It's divisive and it teaches people of color that you can't do anything, which is a load of crap. There was something on Tucker Carlson where it's really bad when Fox News is quoting the Black Panther Party and they're quoting members. When a Black Panther quotes, when you see a liberal and you scratch harder on the surface, you will find a fascist. Let that sink in. The other thing that's also getting very interesting is Jimmy Stewart, right? I mean, no, not Jimmy Stewart. Jon Stewart, right? Went up and he is defending Joe Rogan. Now, Joe Rogan's got a lot of people in the UFC who are defending him. But it came out that since Disney owns an ESPN, we're like, well, we can't have Joe Rogan commenting on UFC. I'm sitting here thinking like, you guys really shouldn't do this. And it's really scary to find out what's going on. You know who has the most power? It's not big oil in this country. It's not the telecommunications giants that have the money and power. Believe it or not, it's big pharma. And they're a problem in the United States. They're not even, and it gets even worse. For the last 4 presidents, there's always been somebody who was on the FDA who happened to be a board member on GlaxoSmithKline and for Pfizer and all these other pharmaceutical companies. And no one has ever bothered to say, maybe we shouldn't have these people on the FDA board. I mean, they're in charge of the FDA. That is just not good. Here's the other thing. I read a report. Women who've taken the vaccine are 3 times more likely to be affected. And the weird part is I've seen this with my Korean ex. She's not mentally all there. And I'm saying this because I don't know what the heck happened. Now, there's some stuff I guess she's involved in. I got questioned by some government officials. I'm not going to go into details about that. But she's just, she goes up and gets pissed off like, why don't I get the vaccine? Thing is, I tried telling her I've worked in the medical field. This vaccine did not meet the 4-year standard regulations that vaccines have to make in order to be safe. Everyone thinks, well, that's not true. I'm like, yeah, it is. Because when it comes to vaccines, viruses and stuff like that, if something is off, a protein is off, it can have everlasting consequences. And right now, it's having everlasting consequences with women. Men, it's kind of ifty, Andy. It's like I read up on it. Women who are, people who are affected by the vaccine negative side effects, women are 3 times more likely to be more or worse affected than men are. And you have myocarditis and all this other stuff. If you notice, you've had videos of the New Zealand Prime Minister. She did not look good after talking about getting the vax. And when I mean she didn't look good, there was an issue with their speech. So, that is something to talk about. The I don't know why Pfizer has this much power. They can't even be sued, which is scary. They should be sued. If anything, if I was a governor of a state, I'd honestly be sending out arrest warrants to go after the CEOs or shooting down their planes whenever they fly over till those people are gone. Because we have no way to have justice against this company. They've made them immune for whatever reason. And it's just for the safety. I don't encourage violence. But I feel like if they're not taken down or if they're not arrested, then they got to be taken down another type of way. If they're not held accountable legally, then we're going to have to look at other options because we're not safe. And that is true. We have no safety net. We have nothing to protect us against it. So those who think that, oh, well, that's not true, I'm like, no, it is true. We have nothing to protect us from the pharmaceutical companies. We have no way to go after them for their mess up. We have no way to charge them, and it's getting worse with these politicians giving them emergency immunity. The worst part is Dr. Fauci is not telling the truth. He's not even qualified. I can't even call him a doctor because when an expert ignores the basics, that's when you got a problem. Now, I know people are going to watch this video and say, oh, no, I'm just being straightforward. Also, it was pretty interesting last week. I saw a video by, I guess the guy was David Pickman. He's like this, this creepy version of David Dorr, right? Like he's got the psychopath Gavin Newsom haircut. Yeah. Jim Brewer's making a joke, and he's pointing out how Jim Brewer had a meltdown. Jim Brewer didn't have a meltdown. Jim Brewer actually repeated exactly what the left was saying when it came to going about Ukraine and all this other stuff. And I don't know what's going on the left side, but a reporter had asked, hey, is there any real evidence that Russia is planning a buildup to go into Ukraine? Because Ukraine has satellites. They're not seeing stuff. And where is the evidence? There's no physical evidence. Americans are sick and tired of being put in these unending wars for whatever reason. And the only reason why they're putting us in this war is to get the emergency funds so they can put it in their pockets. The politicians are broke, and they're trying to rob every American citizen. We have a president who really doesn't care about people of color. The crack epidemic, he wants to give them free crack pipes. He doesn't want people of color to get off crack. Those who voted for him, I feel sorry for you. Those who live in those areas, you honestly believe the Democrats' lies? Well, hey, I got some news. They're going to keep crack in your community. They don't care. To you, you're just the only thing that matters is your vote every 4 years. And man, did they just pull one on you. And it's sad. They're not going to give you money. They could have given the money for your child's education to go to a good college and get a good job. Nope. They want to give them crack pipes. That turned out to be true. Now, everyone's going to tell me, well, that's just from Fox News. Well, here's what I got. I got a challenge for you. The bill can be found on house.gov. You'll actually be able to see the entire bill in its entirety. Everything you need to know. Not edited by a mainstream legacy media or somebody like that. It's actually from the horse's mouth itself, the United States government. And when you read that bill about the crack pipes, you're going to be going, oh, wow. I read stuff on the voting ID law. Not good. They want to make it to people who could register over the phone without any identification. And it's like, I'm no genius, but you have to be a U.S. citizen to vote. And every citizen can get an ID. Those who can't are not U.S. citizens. America has a right to its sovereignty, just like Canada, just like Japan. We have a right to our democracy not being interfered. But instead, the politicians are looking to lead you to believe, no, that's not true. We get to dictate how this goes. Nancy Pelosi tried forcing something that would have caused a war when she says, I get to decide, even though they've been voted for the person in that state, I get to decide if they get to come to Congress. She almost got destroyed and almost caused a civil war. First of all, when a state votes for their elected officials, that's the state's rights. I'm sorry, but the Democrat Party has no right interfering in other people's things. It is the United States of America, not the United States of the Democrats or the Republicans. Yeah, I know. The Republicans go bad too. Trust me. Don't believe me? Look at the Rhino Republicans with Dick Cheney. Yeah, we never found WMDs in Iraq, and a lot of good people got killed. And I feel for those people. They did what they can. They served their country, and the leaders who were supposed to have their safety in mind, they didn't really think about it. I pray for those people every day. Those are good people. But I digress. This whole situation about what we've gotten into is not good. I'm also not denoting those who fought in Iraq. You guys did a good service. You fought hard for this country. The politicians that got us into Iraq, they should probably explain themselves under false pretenses, which is not good. I'm just sick and tired of having to look up and find out that we lost another person in a foreign conflict we don't really need to be in anymore. And that's something we don't need. We don't need to be sending our troops to Ukraine for something that, we don't need to be starting war with Russia. Too many people are dead. It's got to stop. But I've spent maybe about 17 minutes so far explaining everything about what's going on. Jim Brewer, he made a comment about what's going on with Jen Psaki, and I'll be honest, Psaki's screwing up bad. And what he's talking about is, if you watch Jim Brewer's thing, it's funny as hell. David Pickman is the left. I don't know if he's just dumb or if he's trying to come out, but there's no way you can turn Jim Brewer's joke and try to say that he's melting down. That's like when the New York Times is suing the Babylon Bee, which is satire, for misinformation. Of course it's misinformation. It's a comedy. And David Pickman, dude, you're dumb. Or, I don't know, you can't even spin it around, man. Like, Jim Brewer's funny. That was just hilarious. Like, dude, you're dumb. You wouldn't know comedy if it hit you. On top of that, I don't trust you around any children. You give me the crease, man. Get rid of that freaking haircut and change your style. Stop dressing up like Jimmy Dore. It's pathetic. Like, be different. And stop following and towing the party line. Telling the truth wouldn't kill you. It'd just make you look better. So, till then, take care of my 10 full hours. Peace, love. And remember, we can help our Canadian truckers by blocking some of the bridges on our side so Trudeau can feel the pain and they can take down the vaccines. We can do it peacefully without violence. These truckers are good, patriotic Canadians, and they're inspiring patriotism all around the world to stand up against this god-awful, regime-like idiots or in lunatics. And Trudeau, you're a racist. You can't hide that, man. You stole money from charities to help out people in Africa. There's a reason why Trudeau always does blackface. He don't like people of color. And he's only projecting, saying that Canadian truckers are racist, when anyone who knows a Canadian or has a Canadian friend, they're the nicest people on earth. And when they're protesting something and it's massive, listen. That right there is a good people with a good moral heart. And to us American patriots, we can help them by blocking their bridges on our side so they know that they got our support. What are the Canadian police going to do? Come over to the United States? You can't Trudeau, you ain't got power here. We're Americans, and we will help out the Canadian truckers. Trust us. What you're doing to your people is a crime against the UN and the Geneva Convention. What you said about you can't tolerate those people and there's no space for them, I'm going to tell you right now, that's some Adolf Hitler stuff, man. When they have the war tribunal for you, it going to be funny. I'll be laughing because you technically are committing crimes against humanity by doing what you're doing to your own people. I'm just saying, man, you gone way too far, dude. Anyway, peace out, love. Take care of your neighbors, take care of your friends, take care of your family. Forgive each other, love each other, take care of each other. Bye.